Hello and welcome back to Winners and Losers on Football Daily. Yes, it's me, Doogie Critchley, on Football Daily for the first time in quite a while. Chris Hamill is moving house, I believe. Joining me today to round up the winners and losers from across the world of football, it's Joe Tomlinson. Joe, how are you, man?
I'm a bit sore-headed, I'm not going to lie. I went out last night, Dukes, for a bit of a Sunday fun day, and I'm regretting it now quite majorly. But nevertheless, some big news over the weekend, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done you for committing to a Sunday sesh. Yeah, not for the faint-hearted. But let's kick off with today's talking point, because we have a new Premier League manager as of this morning. Dean Smith is the new boss of Norwich City. What's gone down here, Joe?
Yeah, he's back in business after not too long at all, let's face it, since he left Aston Villa and was replaced by Steven Gerrard. Dean Smith has returned to the dugout as Norwich City manager, signing a 2.5-year deal. He's also taking Craig Shakespeare with him, who is, of course, his assistant at Villa Park. I personally think this is a really good appointment for Norwich City. What I will say, though, is I hope they have accepted that even if they go down with Dean Smith, they'll be able to rebuild in the Championship, because Dean Smith has done a really good job at Walsall, at Brentford and at Aston Villa as a sort of project manager, and I hope he's given the time to do that as well at Norwich. Sporting director Stuart Webber obviously sounded extremely delighted about the appointment, saying, "I've admired his work for some time and he has been a long-term target in the event we needed a new head coach," which I'm slightly sceptical about. I think when they sacked Daniel Farke, I'm not sure Dean Smith was the first name they were thinking about, given he was still in charge of Aston Villa at the time. But personally, I think this is a better choice than Frank Lampard. I think he's got more experience in this position. He's been involved in relegation fights. He's brought teams up from the Championship. What do you think, Dukes? Would you have rather had Frank or Dean Smith?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could disagree with you to make it a bit more of a spicy episode or a spicy start to the episode, but I can't really. I think Dean Smith, I agree with you, the better choice. I think they are obviously, either of them, going into a really, really difficult situation. Obviously, Norwich only have 5 points from 11 games. They're rooted to the bottom of the Premier League table. They're 5 points off 17th place Watford. Their 5 goals scored is 5 fewer than next worst Southampton in the Premier League, and is the worst record in Europe's top 5 leagues.
Jesus.
While their 26 goals conceded is only topped by 4 teams in Europe's top 5 leagues. So they're on a pretty horrific season. Obviously that win against Brentford just in Daniel Farke's last game has given them a glimmer of hope, which was, I think, quite necessary for the next manager coming in. They're working with the squad of players that have just had a little bit of a boost and maybe give them a glimmer of light, but it's going to be so difficult. In terms of Lampard versus Dean Smith, I think it is the right call as well. Lampard spent 14 months in charge of Derby, obviously. They finished 6th, but then made it to the playoff final, where they lost to Dean Smith's Aston Villa. But in terms of their stats compared to the season before, it didn't look like Derby were a lot better than the year before. They actually got 1 fewer point during the regular season, and they conceded 6 more goals than the previous year as well. He then did a season a bit in charge of Chelsea as well. They reached an FA Cup final. They finished 4th, but I don't know whether he necessarily had the experience, the defensive solidity, the sort of coaching sort of quality to get enough out of this Norwich side. Maybe his level is probably mid-championship right now, top championship, which is what Norwich will probably be next year. So maybe it was an opportunity to grow. But I think Dean Smith is the better appointment for the here and now. Next few weeks are going to be absolutely vital for Smith. They've got Southampton at home on this Saturday. Actually, interestingly, he'll become the first manager in history to play 2 consecutive games against the same club with 2 different teams, because Aston Villa lost to Southampton on that Friday night.
Opta Dukes in the building.
And so they got Southampton at home, they got Wolves at home, and they got Newcastle away, all before the end of this month. So
some winnable games.
Some winnable games. So hopefully he gets a little bit of momentum going and pulls them up the table. But Canaries fans, we want to hear from you. What are you making of Dean Smith? Are you as sort of pleased with this as me and Joe are? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, and let's move on to this week's winner.
Moving on to our first winner then. They somehow snuck in. It's England 5, Albania 0, Dukes.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it's difficult with England, obviously. You know, most of our fans on Football Daily are based in the UK, although there is a global appeal. But we had to mention England. It was probably one of the most dominant performances we've seen from this England team in quite a while. Against very average opposition, it has to be said, on Friday night. England beat Albania 5-0 with Harry Kane netting a hat-trick, along with goals from Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson. The Three Lions captain is now level with Jimmy Greaves on 44 goals for England. That's an incredible record considering his age. He's 4th on the all-time list behind Rooney, Sir Bobby Charlton and Gary Lineker. He's now just 9 short of Rooney's record, and it surely won't be long before the 28-year-old tops it. Let us know in the comments below how many you think Harry Kane could end up on. 65, 70 maybe? I don't know. I think he's got at least another 5 years. Although Friday night did see him overtake the United legends, 37 goals in competitive games. Harry Kane is now on 39, so he's already got that record. Southgate's side took the lead after just 9 minutes when Reece James's free kick was crossed for Harry Maguire to head home. The United captain then got plenty of stick for his celebration, which was a little bit unfair. But I mean, it was a bit over the top maybe to do the cupped ears celebration against Albania and the big knee slide at Wembley. I don't know, maybe it was slightly over the top. But I did feel Roy Keane maybe went a little bit over the top at half time. It's worth noting that Reece James, with that assist now, has got 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 games for club and country. The 21-year-old has contributed 4 goals and 3 assists in 8 league games this season. Only Salah, Antonio and Jamie Vardy have contributed more in the Premier League. So we want to ask you quickly before we go on to Joe's section, was Zach right to say he's more talented than João Cancelo on Team Talk on Saturday? Here's a little clip of Zach trying to argue his case for the Chelsea fullback.
Cancelo's got to be second. He can play on both sides and be one of the best in the league.
Reece James can play right back.
I don't need to say any more.
Reece James play right back, left back and centre mid.
When's Reece James played left back?
Yeah, but he could do. Absolutely
Well,
fine.
hypothetically, yeah.
Hold on,
You
think Reece James is more tactically versatile than Cancelo?
Yes.
That is a phenomenal.
Borderline the ducks in a point.
Sorry, what do you mean?
No, I
He's
think
played
the
centre
Duke's
mid.
point is really strong here.
He played central
He can play
midfield for
left back,
half a
right back,
season.
you know, I think
he's probably been the best left back in the league this year.
He played.
I think Dudes is actually strong there.
Go on, what's happening?
I think he's right in terms of Cancelo second, James third, and then obviously Walker. Nothing against Cole Walker. I think he's been fantastic.
But why? Because he can play the other flank when Reece James can play central midfield.
To be honest with you though, I caught the majority of this game, Dukes, and to describe it as a non-event would be an understatement. Albania in that first 45 minutes were about as close to a disgrace as I've seen an international team be. Honestly, they were so shambolic at the back. The defensive line was shameful at times, and I genuinely thought this was going to finish 10-0 at half-time. But they pulled themselves together a little bit in the second half, didn't they? They kind of calmed down, they relaxed a little bit, and you know they're set to finish third in back-to-back qualifying campaigns now. And to be honest with you, this is probably Albania's best crop of talent in quite some time, I would say. If you look at that starting 11, okay, it's not star-packed like an England side or another super country, but Haysaj, Strakosha, Kumbula, and they're still defending like that. It's just not good enough. I mean, England playing that 3-4-3 that was so successful at the Euros, just in total control, really. 64% of the ball, 15 shots, 6 on target, 5 of them went in. Particular shout out to Harry Kane for the overhead volley.
Yeah, lovely.
That really went under the radar. Obviously, the perfect hat trick. You've spoken a lot about him, so I'll maybe speak a little bit about Jordan Henderson, who I thought was really good on the day. An excellent performance, even though he didn't really have to do too much. But 2 dribbles, 2 key passes, 92% pass accuracy, 1 extremely well taken goal as well. And England's depth is just really frightening, isn't it? You know, when we're bringing on Trent, we're bringing on Grealish, Bellingham, Abraham, Smith Rowe, Sancho's not even travelling with the squad. Loads of players are injured. Greenwood's not there. Rashford's not there. I mean, it is a serious crop of talent. Yeah, serious crop of talent there, isn't it? And like you said, Harry Kane, maybe that week under Antonio Conte has already changed his mind a little bit and given him a bit of positivity, and I'm sure that England performance will add on to the back of that. But to be honest with you, it was Albania. Like, not to get too hyped up, but they were absolute dog.
Okay, our losers this week. It's a little bit harsh because it was a pretty big, gulf in class between the two teams. But it's Kazakhstan at the suggestion of @Swagato Sarkar99 because they had a bit of a mare against France, didn't they, Joe?
Swagato, bro. I mean, this is harsh to put the Kazakhs in the losers.
In Swagato's defence, I think he actually recommended we talk about France. He wasn't just hammering the Kazakhs.
Okay, fair enough, because, France obviously exceptional, and Kazakhstan did kind of fall apart a little bit. Shipping 8 is never a good thing, is it? But coming into this, they hadn't conceded more than 2 goals in their 7 games. So it was a little bit unexpected to see 8 fly into the back of the net, especially when Kylian Mbappe got a 30-minute hat-trick. But from that point onwards, it was pretty brutal. I mean, some of the goals were comical, weren't they? I mean, the second, Katalov, just all over the place, charging out of his box, nowhere near Kerman, and he obviously squared it to Kylian Mbappe. And I mean, we should probably shine more light on France, because I don't want to just hammer Kazakhstan.
Do a little bit of hammering.
We can do a little bit of hammering. The penalty given away by Vasiliev, shocking. But they've won 3 of 49 games, Duke, so they're not exactly a footballing powerhouse. I feel a little bit harsh kind of putting them in losers altogether. It's like sticking San Marino in there, isn't it? They're going to lose.
Yeah.
So let's talk about France a little bit, because they were exceptional to put 8 past.
Yeah, they were brilliant. I've actually got no issue with hammering the Kazakhs. I think they deserve it on the basis of this. It was appalling. But anyway, let's go over to France. Yeah, so after Les Bleus scored 6 goals in the opening 59 minutes of this game, it looks like their all-time biggest win of 10-0 versus Azerbaijan in 1995 seemed like a possibility, but then Didier Deschamps, similar to Southgate, rang the changes in the second half. He brought on Longley, Pavard, Chouameni, Diaby and Ben Yedder. Interestingly, probably not as strong a bench as England in that particular game, at least. And Diaby can be particularly pleased with his contribution as well. He came on for Benzema after 71 minutes. He completed 100% of his passes, completed 3 dribbles, and laid on Mbappe's 4th goal, which was probably the pick of Mbappe's goals, actually. A lovely little arcing run around the outside of Diaby and then tucked it home. The 22-year-old, that's Diaby, has been brilliant for Bayer Leverkusen this season. He's got 6 goals and 4 assists in 14 League and Europa League games. And he's now been capped 3 times by France. And it was nice to see the wing-backs, Coman and Theo Hernandez as well, who's taken to international football like an absolute duck to water. They're absolutely brilliant. Coman, on the right-hand side, playing as a right wing-back, completed 96% of his passes. And the rest of his game looked like this. He completed 6 dribbles, created 3 chances, had 3 shots, and laid on 2 assists too. But this game, all about Mbappe, of course. He's now scored 23 and assisted 19 in 52 games for his country. That's 0.8 goal contributions per game, which, considering some of the calibre of teams that France have played in international tournaments over the last few years, is a really, really impressive record. He's already 12th on their all-time top goal-scoring list. He's 28 behind Henry's record of 51. So there's an argument that he could become probably France's greatest player of all time. I think Zinedine Zidane and Michel Platini would probably have something to say about that. But he's on track for it. I mean, he's already won one World Cup. I mean, Joe, do you think that's a ridiculous statement? Will you always have Zizou at the top, or do you think Mbappe can threaten it?
Gone early. Gone very early. It's a long old career from this point, and it only takes one injury to completely scupper it, doesn't it? So he's got a long way to hit the heights of Zinedine Zidane, etc. I think it's not to say he won't, but for me, he's a long, long way off yet, dude.
Okay, I'm saying he could become it. Guys, have I gone completely mental? Let us know.
Duke's saying that Mbappe is the greatest player in France
history. No, could become the greatest player in France history.
Note it down, lads.
Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move on to our moments of the week. Okay, Joe, it's time for moment of the week. To round up the show, what's your moment of the week?
I mean, I think it has to be Aleksander Mitrovic. What a moment for Serbia, honestly, to automatically qualify with a 90th minute header from Mitrovic. The ball in by Tadic is unreal. But the best thing about it is the reaction of the bench and the staff flooding the pitch. The same at the full-time whistle. And, David Vujanic, who is a fellow YouTuber, actually travelled to Lisbon. We all know that he's got Serbian heritage as well. Travelled to Lisbon, and he actually saw the goal, and this was his reaction.
Yeah, absolute scenes there in Lisbon. Let's move on to my moment of the week, though, which was suggested by @MartyMCG88, and it's Gavin Bazunu's wonder save. Probably not as dramatic as the scenes between Serbia and Portugal, obviously, but the scores was 0-0 between Ireland and Luxembourg. The Republic of Ireland, I should say. The Republic of Ireland can't yet qualify, but it was 0-0 in the 21st minute, and Oliver Till strode forward for Luxembourg and unleashed a very good shot, which took a deflection And Gavin Bazunu, who has taken to international football so easily, already saved a penalty from Ronaldo, I believe, a couple of months ago as well. Made an absolute wonderful save. And he's, continuing his great start to life as an Ireland player. So long may it continue, Gavin Bazunu. Top work. But yeah, Mitrovic celebrating in his pants after the final whistle as well, with the Coke. Coming out to serenade the fans. It's just great scenes, and full credit to Serbia, who have a serious crop of talent actually, with Kostic, Vlahovic, etc. Luka Jovic will probably come back in at some stage as well. So I wouldn't want to play Serbia, and Milinkovic-Savic as well. Wouldn't want to play Serbia in the group stages of the World Cup in Qatar. So yeah, let's see what happens with them going forward. But guys, that's all we've got time for on Winners and Losers for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let us know what you guys thought of our suggestions in the comments section. And Joe, what should they go and watch now?
If you haven't already, make sure you go and watch the latest episode of Team Talk. Of course, our brand new debate show this week. Zach Jalab absolutely lost his head. Honestly, lost his head. He was fuming. Seriously angry bloke in that episode of Team Talk, dude. Yeah, no, it was very, very entertaining. Go show that some love on Saturday. And then on Sunday Vibes, on Sunday they were talking Gerrard. They were talking, new managers in the Premier League. That's what they were discussing. A very good episode in that as well. So go show that some love. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll catch you next Monday. Bye.